In the last video, video 12, we saw an interview with a media person with Benny Irwin, the daughter of Steve Irwin. It was very interesting. If you did watch that, at the very end of that video, after the music, you saw the media person come in with the negativity agenda 6 times through approximately 4.5-minute interview. She pushed the idea that children obviously must go through phases where they rebel against their parents, and thus that's how they grow. That's how they virtually animalistically separate from their parents, so they learn their own self-identity and thus grow in integrity and self-esteem. But what if that's not the case, though? What if there's a whole nother way that many of us parents really believe in? To each of the 6 negative comments that were made by the media person, we saw Benny Irwin speak so positively about her father, who had died tragically. What if another philosophy is what is the case? That like Benny Irwin, having trouble saying it, Benny Irwin, like she, who had such honor and respect for her father, that having honor and respect without fail, without a disruption of a required phase psychology, that her honoring her father causes something of her father to be in her for the rest of her life, with the vivacious excitement that we saw in Steve and now see in his lovely daughter. What if that is the way to grow with self-esteem? And that sometimes when a father and a mother are not perfect themselves, are themselves capable of getting upset, that to honor fathers and mothers is also a way that a child growing up learns coping skills, discipline, personal acceptance, forgiveness, honor, growth, and strength, by learning to accept what is good in their parents and, like I said, honoring father, respecting and having compassion for mother. That which is in father then and that which is in mother is incorporated into the very soul, into the very personality, makeup, and value system of the child. What if that is a proper psychology? Do you see what I'm saying? There are going to be people that are going to watch these videos where I put my face up in these videos, and they're going to call this crazy and not agree with it. But the fact is, you and I know that there is a different psychology. There is a different concept of family. A concept of family that's being pulled out of our world, pulled out of the system of this society. But many of us still believe in father, mother, family as we have defined it for many years. What if this honoring psychology of mom and dad, like I said, places a self-esteem in a child and is in fact an umbrella of protection, like we spoke in an earlier video, where not only psychologically, emotionally, but also spiritually, there are forces that cannot penetrate the loving authority of a father and mother. Yes, a father and mother who are not perfect, but certain forces of many kind, spiritual and in our society, cannot penetrate the umbrella of loving, authoritative protection that's under a father and mother. No, phase psychology is not required except for a simple practical application that most all of us parents know does exist. No, your child does not have to rebel against you in order to gain her right or his right and position in our world. No, it is through an honor and a respect. That is the psychology that you and I stand for. Let me put it this way. Long as a parent hasn't sexually abused their kid, illegally performed the parent role in a way that badly harms the child, it is never good and it is never appropriate for that son or daughter to rise in angry judgment of father and mother. Period. We too much have a psychological field that enables this biblical principle. Sometimes it is built upon creating reasons, creating excuses that a child has a right to sever the very root of the source of compassion and the source of reasoning that has been provided for that child through divine providence for that father and mother or that single mom or that single parent, father, to be parent. For us to do this is a very wrong. You see, once a boy rises up and has been supported to make angry judgment of his father, he has severed the source of even knowing what a father is. Furthermore, he has severed the source to comprehend what being a man is. Should there be things about father that is hard to assimilate, hard to deal with, long as it is legal and that parent does love that child and is not going to go by what society is saying, then this child is going to learn, because some of us do believe there's a God. These children are going to learn how to establish coping skills with certain kinds of people that are around us. But that boy will also grow up to learn to be a man based on having dealt with the father that was given him. We are making a huge error when we create long psychological theories to break up the home in a society that is already now redefining what family is. So hey, some people are going to come upon these videos and are going to be extremely critical. But I am telling you what, there are a lot of men and women in this country of America and in other nations of the world that still believe in family just as it has always been. And that we believe in fathers and mothers that go to bed at night and pray, God, please protect my children. Fathers and mothers who are willing to give their lives with no regret for the children they've given birth to or that they've brought into their homes. Look, when I am speaking to you and saying there is something that has changed in this world, rebellion in children is more sophisticated, and that's not a good thing. Actually, some of the principles much of the principles that I talk about have a Bible base. And there's going to be videos from a spiritual direction. But for now, I want you to know, I am telling you, it is hard for you sometimes dealing with an acting out, strong-willed, defiant child because something has changed in our society. Very often the very people, both religious at times In the psychological field and in other fields, some of your neighbors are the very people, and sometimes you won't know it, are the very people who take your child against you. And like a serpent in the Garden of Eden, tells your child something, some little morsel, that turns your child's heart around, and then you're going to try reasoning to convert your child. And yet every effort that you make to reason with this child is actually used by that child to use against you, so that the son or daughter can make further judgment of you. Let's learn how to create a team and turn your son and daughter around. Speak to you later.
Would you like to see what Lieutenant Dan looks like?
Well, yes, I would.
That's him right there. And let me tell you something about Lieutenant Dan.
Forrest. I never thanked you for saving my life.
He never actually said so, but I think he made his peace with God.